Hey folks, welcome back to AAA Farms. So last time we fenced in this area here for the cows with electric wire, just single strand. It's still single strand. I haven't got a chance to run the aluminum wire around the bottom to make it two strand. Y'all can see the cows back there. They are in this pasture. They're just against the barbed wire. I think some of them might be in the barbed wire. They can go in and out. We're just leaving the gate open. But what I'm going to do now is there's another section over here that I'm going to fence in, do two strands. I bought galvanized steel wire this time. So for the same price that I'm paying for the power wire, the power braid wire, which works really, really well, I get twice the amount of length with just the regular steel galvanized wire, which we used before at our old location before we moved here, and it worked great. This wire here that we're currently just using to run power to the wire, you can kind of see it right there. It's aluminum. Don't really recommend it other than what we're doing with it right here, which is just getting power over there. Deer run through it, pigs, coyotes, whatever. It stretches and stretches, and this is a constant upkeep. We haven't had that issue with this power wire, the yellow braided wire. I'm hoping not to have an issue with the steel wire. It is 14 gauge, so it should be a lot stronger than this stuff. But what I'm going to do now is there's some T-posts I'm going to pull out, like say this one, that one in, I think two more down there, and a couple others. What I'm going to replace it with or by the coop. It's just kind of some of these step-in posts. So I used all T-posts whenever I did this. The only reason I did that is because that's what I had on hand, and just to hurry up and get something up as soon as possible, because like I said, we ran out of hay. So what I'm going to do is take that and put it in places where all the T-post is doing is just holding the wire up. So this whole run here and a couple others. I got 10 of these step-ins with me. I'm probably only going to replace 10 of the T-posts for now. I got another 15 that I'm going to use in the new spot just to make sure I got plenty. But 10 T-posts should get me over there. Only time you really need T-posts is the gates, where you dead in it to a gate and have like the little yellow handle hook and everything. And then any really any turns. But as far as your straight runs, all you need is just these step-in posts. It's going to hold the wire up. It's going to do just fine. So first thing I'm going to do is unplug this Energizer so I don't get electrocuted. I got popped once already with it, and it hurts. I don't like it. So the cow should stay in just fine. I'm going to keep a close eye on them, and obviously I'm not just going to unplug it and leave it unplugged. I'm going to get what I need done, and then we'll plug it back up. Chickens out roaming around. It's kind of warm today. I would say probably upper 70s, lower 80s. It feels great. Chickens are all piled up in the shade over here. So I'm going to unplug this, and then we'll start pulling T-posts. So I get the Energizer turned off. So what I'm going to go through and start replacing T-posts with these little step-in posts. I'm going to, like I said earlier, I'm going to just do 10 of them for now. Essentially, that should give me enough T-posts to do this next section over here. And then once we get done with that, if we have any more step-in posts and everything, we'll start looking at go ahead and replacing more T-posts. Just so we have the T-posts ready to go next time. We don't have to do all this extra work then. Save a little bit of time. But as far as this stuff goes, on this side of the wire, let's unplug it. It's been raining a lot, so the ground's going to be super soft. So it shouldn't be too bad getting these out. Start to the side. Take your step-in post. Sink it in. Put a wire on it. That should still keep it plenty high. We might have to come through, hit some of this with the weed eater just to knock it down or keep it knocked down in the future. As of right now, all this run's doing is getting power from the Energizer to this fence. However, in the very near future, we're gonna, so today is this section, which we might not get done today. We're definitely going to be done by tomorrow. Essentially, we won't have it ready for next weekend. We've been letting the cows hit this for the past 2 or 3 weekends, whenever Easter was, and every weekend since, so they got it pretty mowed down. We're going to need to brush hog that to get all the stuff that they're not eating knocked down and add it to the soil, put a little bit of biomass in it. Anyway, once we dries out, we're going to knock all that down. But we're going to get this section done so that next weekend we'll put the cows in there instead of here. So essentially this area will get 2 weeks rest with no cows on it. and then they can start munching on this area over here, which they've never been on before. We've had this fence in before with electric fence, but essentially we're going to end up with this section, that section, and then 2 more sections down this way. And once we have those sections done, we're actually going to separate. We got 2 steers that need to go to slaughter. We're going to separate and put them into this section and keep them in it so we can feed them out and not have to feed the entire herd. You can do grass fed if you want. We like doing feed because we like our stuff a little bit more fattier. It probably ain't as healthy as grass fed, but it tastes delicious. But once we get to that point, we're also probably going to fence in this section here. It's another 6 acres just to give them more room to graze and eat. But we'll, and then, you know, once we sell them, we'll start grazing this again with the herd as well. But part of that is to let the cows get in here. The soil's not very great. It's very clay. The whole property's like that. It used to be a pine plantation. So, but part of this is to give them more grass to feed, so that we don't have to feed as much hay, we don't have to feed as much feed or protein and everything else, save some money. But also to allow them to walk around, eat the grass, process it, and put out butt fertilizer, manure, around, and hopefully improve the soil as we do this. But anyway, that's enough talking because I don't want to run out of daylight. I'm going to run through and do the rest of these T-posts really quick, and then we'll transition over to the new area. The new area ain't quite as big as this area over here, but it's better than nothing. It's going to be roughly 3 acres. This is about 6. So let's get started. All right, we got 10 T-posts swapped out for these little step-in posts. Guess I didn't point out the reason why we went this route. So you can get these at like Tractor Supply for I think $2.20, something like that. Versus a full-size T-post like we use here is about $6. So the idea, it's a lot cheaper. I can buy essentially 2 of these for every 1 T-post. So what that allows us to do, instead of buying the more expensive T-post, we can go ahead and use what we got and then use the step-in post and finish fencing in all this stuff. So obviously we got several more because pretty much all these T-posts here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them here. I didn't even touch all the ones on the wood line over there, and there's a couple more in here. What I did is I just focused right behind the house and in this section. Reason I did, the wire does sit a little bit lower because you got pre-selected spots that you can put this wire. You don't really have any real control over it. Let me show y'all. So you got these select locations that you can put them at. They're all at certain lengths. Don't know if it tells you what it is on there, but what I found is this is the closest thing to what I've been using. Height wise, it is actually a little bit shorter. I don't think it's a big deal. Now once I do this section, it's going to have 2 strands, so I'll probably have a strand here and either here or there, because I am going to do 2 strand here. Eventually I'm going to come back and do 2 strand on this side too. Like I said, this is keeping the cows in really well, so I don't see really much point into doing that right now. It might be something I do this coming weekend after I brush hog some of this stuff down, if it doesn't rain. Anyway, this is the next area that I'm going to fence in. So it's going to come off that corner down there, follow this wood line all the way around, and it's going to tie back in over here to the barbed wire. I have another gate right there. The next step is to take a brush hog. I'm going to mow me a path going around this the best I can. It is very wet, but also I want to make sure to knock down all this stuff because some of this stuff is tall enough to ground out the fence. The next section will actually be this section here, which is, if I remember right, I think that's about 6 acres. And then there's another section right down over there. That's going to be about 8 acres. Both those sections need to be brushed off, probably before I put the cows in them. I didn't get to them last year. Y'all can tell here. Let me move my finger. There's just a bunch of shrub and stuff. Not the end of the world. If I have that fenced in and it's still too wet for me to really brush hog it down, I'll still let the cows in there, because they'll either eat it or run over it, do whatever. But the idea is also I want to try to keep all that brush that ain't any benefit to me or the cows knocked down, just so when I come to check on cows to make sure they haven't got out, that it's a lot easier for me to tell. But let's go get the brush hog. We're just going to make a single pass around here. Hopefully don't rut anything up, because like I said, it's still very, very wet, very muddy. let's go get the tractor. I guess the other part first. Cows are starting to come back in here. Well, I mean, some of them are in here and some of them are in the barbed wire fence. But I saw Elsa right here is this white cow. It's one of the second oldest cow on the farm now. Yes, that's the second oldest cow. She actually was our second calf ever born. We inherited a whole bunch of older cows from my wife's dad when he passed away. And so this is all their babies and grandbabies, with the exception of the Red Angus back there. We actually bought that from my wife's friend. But Elsa is one of our oldest cows, second oldest cow here, and she's coming in and she has a calf. And so before we get the tractor, first thing we're going to go ahead and do is re-energize the fence, just so we make sure we don't turn into cow chasing and make life a little bit less hectic today. What I'm going to do is, I'll show you more detail on this corner down here. The way I'm going to hook it up, basically, it's not going to be energized. And then Monday evening when I get home, I'll lock the cows back into the barbed wire, de-energize the fence, and then we'll tie it in how I want to tie it in. Because there ain't no sense of really tying it in quite yet. And I got a couple things I'm going to do, which I'm going to show, to try to basically make my fence a little bit more reliable. Let's go get the Kubota. So I was walking back up to get the Kubota. I stopped here, just kind of show. This field does not have as much grass as this field had, mainly because I did brush hog this last year. I did not brush hog this last year because the plan was to barbed wire fence that in over winter. Finances did not allow that to happen. But that's why this is a little bit shorter. But what I want to point out, while it does not have as much grass, it does have this prairie grass. So I had the USDA come out probably about a year or two ago now. And I have a lot of this type of grass here. Get a close shot on that. And apparently, they probably told me the actual name of it, but essentially it's some form of prairie grass. Apparently it used to be very common around here. However, for you that don't know, Louisiana is very prevalent in pine. At least, I would say probably Sinlaw and north part of the state. You get close to the marsh, pines don't do as well. So I just thought I'd point that out. It's pretty cool. We do have a lot of that stuff in this field, along with some other stuff that they'll eat as well. Also a lot of stuff they won't eat, but hopefully they come around and eat some of these seeds. They'll poop them out, and we'll spread all this grass seed around and make the soil better in general. And then we'll come back around probably this spring, fall. Probably gonna try to get a bunch of ryegrass seed and plant ryegrass on everything and let it grow up, so that hopefully I can continue to do this rotational grazing going deep into the fall and hopefully not need as much hay. I got 12 cows now. 2 of them will be slaughtered before then, which is going to put me at about 10. There's a heifer I'm probably going to sell that just got born probably towards the latter end of summer, and probably use that money to pay for hay or some hay. But usually I like having about 50 bales of hay rolling in the summer or rolling into winter. So 50 bales, used to I could get it for about $40 a roll, which is about $2 or is $2. However, last year hay went sky high because we had a pretty much drought. We never had a spring and just started winter drought and stayed in a drought. We got hay for $50. We were very lucky. A lot of people did not get that. They had to pay $75 to $100 a bale. So that's also part why we're going ahead and trying to set up this, to at least have something to help with the cost of hay, because we can't continue to pay that kind of money in hay. Rotational grazing allows people, from what I've researched, this is the first time I've ever done rotational grazing, but from what I researched, allows people to feed well deep into fall and even to winter in some regions. For Louisiana, we stay pretty warm in the winter. I say warm. We don't get like sub-zero, we don't get snow, the ground doesn't freeze. So with ryegrass, we might be able to extend our feeding for quite a bit. All right, hop in the Kubota real quick. Let's go get some stuff done. Still got the 10-foot main rod hooked up. All right, let's go brush hog us a path around here so we can start running fence. ended up doing is 2 passes around the field to get us a little area. The one thing that got rutted up pretty good was this spot right here, which this spot was already rutted up. Been having a lot of rain, so all the rain collects here, plus it comes down that hill and it comes down this hill, so it just stays muddy. But I got my first T-post driven already, just to kind of get a starting point. I'll cross all this without falling. So what I did, I got the first T-post in. Gonna shoot for that corner back through there, which you can tell there's some branches in the way. But what I'm thinking is I'll go ahead and put the T-post in. I'll go ahead and run the steel wire around, and then I'll come out with my little Bauer reciprocating saw, trim all these limbs up, trying to maximize the amount of ground the cows can graze, and also keep it somewhat straight line so we don't have to use so many T-posts, because it doesn't come across the camera. But it starts down there and it actually comes out towards us there and then goes back in. So it's going to require quite a bit of T-posts. Let's get started. Hey folks, it's the next day. We ran out of daylight. We got all but 2 T-posts put in. So what we're going to be focusing on is putting the last 2 T-posts in, which one's going to go right over here, which is going to be the end of the run. And then we got another one we're going to put right here somewhere. I haven't fully decided yet because I'm going to cut some of this stuff out. I got my Bauer reciprocating saw with me. I'll knock some of that stuff out to try to get us a straighter shot to get a little bit more space right here. But it's coming along a little bit. Still got a lot of work to do. As you can see, all the cows are up here checking out and see what's going on. Probably thought I was bringing feed because I have all the fencing material in a 5-gallon bucket right there. So yeah, let me get these 2 T-posts put in and then we'll start running wire. Okay, so we got our last T-post in right there with some handles. We got this section of wire done already. I had to use 2 of the step-in posts to try to keep that wire sag. I only bought 2 wire tensioners because I didn't think I was going to need it for this portion. Definitely going to need it for that whole run there. So I'll show you what I got here. First I'm going to grab a, kind of show what I'm thinking. So this is the section I'm focusing on fencing in for the cows for next weekend. This section is the next section I'm going to fence in. And the thought process I had here was I got these gate ends put in. And so what these are for is when you put this on the wire, you can hook it on like that and it makes a gate. So it's the exact same setup we have on that end. But here, I just got the wire dead in it here. For this section over here, I'm going to have a gate to hook up like this here for that and that run down there. And then on the other end, where it connects back into that corner over there, I'm going to have the same thing. The reason I'm going to do that is, say, when the cows are in here, all of this over here doesn't need to be energized. Only this section. So what that will let me do is I can disconnect both handles here and then both handles up there, and essentially there will be no power going to any of this fence over here. Which, what that really means, the only reason I'm doing that, say a deer runs to the fence over here, it grinds out the fence. Well, if it grinds out the fence over there and it's connected to the circuit, it's going to grind out all this fence too, and so then the electric fence ain't going to work. Versus I might as well only energize what I gotta have energized to try to reduce the chances of wildlife knocking down those fences. We had a lot of problems with that with this spot over here originally when we had the aluminum wire a few years ago. Haven't really had that issue with the yellow braided wire yet. Feeling like probably not going to have a big issue with this either, because you can definitely see that really well. This is 14 gauge steel wire, so it's not going to stretch. It's not going to have all that give that stuff did. Plus, I'm pretty certain that was 17 gauge aluminum wire, which is even a smaller diameter, smaller wire. So I'm hoping not to have those problems, but what I'm going to do is make it to where if it does happen, ain't a big deal. Other part of this, so I got a dead in it here. That down there has 2 hooks like this. whenever I get ready to do this spot, I'm gonna have it set up where I can take the stuff-in post out, undo the handles, and then connect it over here in this corner here. I'm gonna have water right here by this H brace, and that's the gate that they'll come in and out of. So basically, whenever I'm ready for them to do this side, I'll pull these stuff-in posts up, undo it from over here, move it over, hook it up here, put the stuff-in post, and then that's gonna allow them to have access over here. At least that's the train of thought. We'll have to see how it pans out. So, but my next step, I'm gonna put another T-post over here. I'm gonna knock out some of this stuff with the Bauer little reciprocating saw, so I get a straight shot, and then I'm gonna start running. I'm gonna run my first strand of wire all the way around, kind of tighten it up, and that way I can try to start seeing where I need to trim limbs. Should be quite a bit of spots I'm gonna have to trim limbs. All right, so my next T-post is gonna go probably roughly right here. So you can see there's gonna be a little bit of trimming right there between here and there. And y'all might be able to see a T-post down there. See the little white spot right there? That's the other one. So all this stuff's in the way too. So I'm gonna put my T-post here, and then I'm gonna start knocking all this stuff down with the saw, and then we'll start running steel wire. Spot. We'll clean some of this up over here and start running wire. All right, start us off. Just run it through. Handle here. Like a few wraps here. Starts the long process of walking it around. All right, we've made it to our first corner. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have one about knee height on me, which is about where that is, and then probably another one about that height. For now, you can always come back and adjust this stuff. Since the rubber hose I did not pan out for the insulator, I'm gonna use this. These are just little corner insulators. Pretty straightforward. Whatever wire you're using to tie to the fence goes to the center, and then your parameter wire goes through on the radius here. So let's see. Okay. So you don't have to use this yellow plastic piece like I am. I just like that. I feel like it keeps the height better than if I was just to tie the wire around the T-post. Pretty good right there. know how well that picks up about the difference of these two wires, but that's that aluminum wire versus that steel wire. It's significantly thicker. Trim off this excess, there's a lot there. Now, when we tension that wire up, it's going to pull into that and should work. Should work. So now I got to get the bower saw again and cut a path to the next T-post because that one has a bunch of limbs in the way too. Get on that real quick. Alright, we got most of that stuff cleared out, cut out. I think I might have to add one T-post for this curve around this woods. I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and finish running the wire and then we'll kind of go from there. Hey guys, this is day 3 of this project. It's pretty much going to be a touch up of where we're at. As you see down here, we got the first strand done. It is tight. And what you can see, so we got our gate handle here. And then we got our fence strainer here, our tightener here. So what we'll be able to do is say if we're not using this fence here, we simply unhook it from here, unhook it on the other side. And that's going to allow us to not have this side energized. So if a deer runs through, grinds it out or whatever, it's not a big deal. We also got our fence strainer here because our experience with the aluminum wire was constantly trying to keep it tight. It was just a pain in the butt. This yellow wire we haven't had a problem with. The steel wire, I'm not really expecting a full big problem with out of it. But we got the first strand done. I got all of it cleared around, like all the brush, trees and stuff. Used a bower saw, did a lot of work. Never charged it during this whole time. Still showing full charge on that battery. I'm pretty happy with that thing so far. But we got everything cleared all the way around. We did have to steal one more T-post from this line here to put over here just to give us a little bit more room. And then I got all the stepping posts. I don't know, that little stepping post right there. So we got all the stepping posts put into. So tomorrow I'm probably going to run the second strand, and then Saturday morning, normally I would do it Friday morning or Thursday evening, but since this is a complete new area for our cows, I'm going to wait until Saturday morning so I can let them in and watch them kind of graze, make sure we don't do nothing crazy. But we're making a lot of progress. The next step is to do the next section on the other side here, which pretty much gonna be all this stuff over again. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this. It's been a lot of work. Like I said, we'll get the second wire done tomorrow. Probably won't video that, but Saturday when I let the cows in, I'll video that. Plus, probably gonna be brush hogging the next section. That's what I'm thinking. So we'll be back brush hogging for spring. Small chance of rain Thursday, but as long as it doesn't rain Thursday, we'll get some brush hogging done. I also need to do some brush hogging in here to knock all the tall weeds down. Haven't decided if I'm going to do that this weekend or wait until I let them graze it weekend after next, and then come in the following day or evening and brush hog it or something. But hope y'all enjoyed this. Y'all have a great and wonderful week, and I'll talk to y'all this weekend.